Hello. We're back. So you're on the boat.
Stretch your necks, people.
What?
I said stretch your necks, people.
Stretch your necks, stretch your legs, drink water. But don't drink this water. You're on the boat back to your village, and you're not far away. Sadly, the sign that you're coming across corrupted land is a sign that you're very close to your village. But as I just described, the river is polluted, dead. But dead might not be the most accurate word, because there's still plenty of things alive that are just growing more and more horrible. Particularly noticeable is, like, on some rocks by the water is a very gnarly, bloated, like, frog creature. It's like, it probably looks like it was a frog, but now it's just big and swollen.
It's just a swollen frog with my face on it. Bulging eyes.
A Neil frog. The most horrifying evil in the world. Just an example, right? And Lord Shawl, staggered by the sight. I wondered if any of you wanted to sort of say anything, or were you just going to keep on rowing?
I think this landscape speaks for itself.
This whole episode so far has been a picture speaks 1,000 words, right?
Yeah.
That's very true.
Okay. The whole river journey together probably took around 5 hours, maybe less, maybe more. It's not like any of you have a fucking watch.
You know, when we hit level 4, I'm going to take the keen mind feat just so I can get you to give me the exact time it took.
No! The bane of every DM who does things loosely. There's that one DM out there who's waiting for someone to take keen mind, because, like, I know exactly what time it is, plus time zone dilation, and...
Oh, God.
That's not me. You get back to that. Again, you have that little jetty by Cornucopia, mostly for fishing. And you can kind of tie the boat up there. Lord Shaw will get off the boat first while you're doing that. And glance around. He pulls his cloak a little bit closer around his body, leaning into the fluffy warmth of it. Just like the destruction of this village is clear, you know, especially the outskirts, which the river is by the outskirts, where there are just destroyed, burned huts that haven't been rebuilt, you know. What would you like to do, team?
Well, we're worried about the food situation, so we should head towards the center of the village where they would be distributing any ready food. And also we should introduce Lord Shaw to the people so he can have an entire village of eyewitness.
Okay.
I would go check on my dad.
Totally reasonable.
But I would just like, Dad.
We'll do that first because that'd be quicker. Griff is back at his place. Which is good. It's a good sign. The leg amputation went well. There's no infection or anything like that. There's definitely an abundance of bottles and wine skins and similar things. Even seemingly the smell of fermentation, like he's trying to brew a little bit of his own from whatever fruit that still survived, you know, scraps and things like that. But when
he's not drinking wood treatments and shit to get
not
drunk, I'm
yeah,
cool.
not right now. There's a little bit of restraint, although probably drinking at all in his situation is very bad.
Yeah, having a dead leg on you for a while is not good for your liver or kidney.
He's looking rough when you see him. Like, his beard is all grown out.
Bastard.
He's thinner.
Show off.
You're jealous of my fake dad.
Who isn't?
Everyone wants to be Doxy's dad.
Everyone wants to get called daddy.
Well, I guess that does make sense now that you think about it. But when he sees you, there's a smile. He will actually, like, try to get up from the chair he's in, but kind of stumble back down into it.
I'd put a hand on his chest and hug him and be like, tried to get you some booze, but things went to shit.
That's fine. That's fine. Doesn't matter. You're back. You're fine. I was worried going off like that, trying to save everyone. You'll just get hurt.
We need food. Everybody needs food. How am I gonna drag your ass around if I don't have any food to feed you? Or eat for myself?
Yes. Fair, I suppose.
It's really gross food.
I never really had much fine tastes anyway.
Nutritious. Gonna go make sure that everything got here. Is there anything I can do for you?
I'm fine. Perfectly fine. I'm all here.
Yeah,
Alright,
that
I give him
operation gave you a new leg of life.
A quick hug, and then a kiss on the forehead, and then bolt to find the others.
The others heading towards the, we need a good name for the building in the center of the village, because it used to be a chief's hut, but now it's like a communal, eating, sleeping area.
The lodge.
The lodge. Very good. Head towards the lodge, where you can see there's a little bit of, commotion. That is a gnomish box on wheels. That has been kind of pushed aside beside the building with two tied up gnomes sort of on the floor beside it. Oscar is talking with some of the hunters about this, and that's when you come by, and he will turn and Oscar will kind of call out, "Ah, my son's returned. He'll know exactly what's going on, don't you, Richter?"
When I notice the gnomes tied up, I'd be like, hey, 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 and move towards them to go and untie them.
He will, like, Oscar will just kind of, like, put a hand on your hand to stop you gently. But look,
They're
director,
friends. They're bringing us
food.
food.
The food they've brought is poisoned.
Torum would turn to Lord Shaw and say, I believe this was Warlier's doing. He requested to explicitly inspect the food alone in his chambers before it was sent.
You see him kind of have this thinking kind of look on his face for a bit. Let me please take a look at this. He will kind of get up, and Oscar, who is this? Forgive me for being wary right now. We're only lucky that Leia had an omen about this.
Torum would look at Richter triumphantly.
Father, please unbind those. It's not their fault. It's the work of one cynical gnome and my foolishness.
He will just kind of like raise his hand away from Belle to kind of like let her untie them.
He does it immediately and like helps him up.
This is Lord Shaw. I do not know the terms used within Clearkeep, but he is a leader of sorts among his people. the leader.
Is there a chief? Sorry, my lord. The term we're more familiar with.
But he did not know about this.
We believe
Poison.
it was the work of a gnome, the vizier called Warlier. Lord Shul here has taken us upon our word and is investigating this matter personally.
Can you guys give me perception checks? Well, sure, at this point, there's a couple of brief words in Gnomish to the gnomes as they're getting up, which is really just a sort of, are you okay? Did Wally ask you anything? But what Amaryllis notices, and Bell... Oh, sorry, Torin. I'm going to cut you off right there. Is that when he kind of like opens the container a little bit and looks in and rolls his gold and silver dice. And it rolls in a 1. And it's a very quick motion. And closes it again. I'll say, you must forgive my people for being so blinded by Warlier. He claims there's no dragon, but dragon or not, there is suffering. He claims he takes what you request and turns it into poison against you, literally. It is foul what he's doing, and I see no sense in it.
He mentioned the dragon by name when we had not mentioned its name. He spoke with a degree of reverence.
Oscar's like, you think he worships this reptilian?
Worship? No.
At the very
But
least, serves.
has some sort of agreement, yes.
A minor Torm served her. I suppose having a gnome in her pocket is less useful for war, but probably has its own usage. And Lord Shaw will kind of step forward and will say, it's under his request. We've been shipping golden works, I thought, to Shinebank. But dragons hoard gold and riches. I thought it not a strange request, but a sudden one. We kept a lot of our gold with us to respect the beauty that we could find in the world, but to ship it all away and work harder on making more. Is it possible that this was for the dragon?
With respect, my lord, while Warlier's actions may have been evil, his first intentions might not have been. I mean, no disrespect when I say, having seen the dragon firsthand, Clearkeep is mighty, but a dragon is a mighty force of nature. He may have been doing what he was doing to protect your people.
Horan, he just sent a box of poison to your brothers and sisters, and you defend him.
And would you not take a box of poison to these gnomes? Would it save your families?
Oscar puts his hand out, like literally between the two of you, and will say, it is wise to try and understand why your foe acts as they do. If this Warlier is doing this, knowing why can maybe make them see sense or make them easier to take to the headsman's axe.
Give a jealous glance to Torrin and turn away.
Do you think it is possible to purify this? I don't even know if it's correct to call it food.
Torrin looks at Amaryllis.
I would need to meditate at rest for the flow to bequeath me the power to do so again. There is much of it. It might not be easy, but I could certainly attempt it at little cost.
It's worth a try. Shaw will kind of like take from one of his pockets a folded up piece of parchment and will hand it to Torn. This is directions for farming the cave moss, turning it into flour. Some of your people speak Gnomish. I've noticed it. With that, your mine, I'm sure you'll be able to do it well. It creates an ecosystem of some sort. I'd never truly understood it completely myself, but that will help you, get you started. I might rest here a while, but I will be returning.
Perhaps I am jaded by my first impressions of Warlier, but although I have just pleaded as to his reasons, he has now been left alone in the keep for some time. It is possible he may drum up support for a rebellion of sorts. While I don't know how possible that is, I would not want to see you come to harm.
It's very likely.
I'm happy to accompany you back.
You have your own problems to solve. Perhaps when your people are more comfortable on your feet, then if there is a civil war within Clearkeep, then I would request your banner at my aid. The longer I stay gone, the worse the situation will be. If I return back swiftly with my trackers here, then perhaps I can... Perhaps luck will be on my side. But you, your people, have your own problem to solve with. But when you are ready to take this fight to this dragon, this Malakesh, then hopefully my people will be able to stand by your side.
If you must send someone in your stead, should we have some sort of code?
That would be quite wise. I do not know what kind of trickery may be implemented now. A phrase that we can say to know that we are loyal to each other's best interests.
Torrin adjusts his helmet and scratches under it. Looks at Richter.
You're the brains. You pick.
I'm not any good at this sort of spycraft business. Danger flies above, but hope takes root. He looks towards Amaryllis as he says that. If you say one half and they repeat the other half back, then you know everything's okay.
That will do. At least for now. I apologize for my people.
This is not your doing, nor the doing of your people. This is the doing of one person. One very manipulative person. He must be dealt with. I have half a mind to deal with it myself.
He's got like some tears in his eyes. He kind of like straightens back. Well, a warm bed and some food, I think, after such a long travel. And he kind of like pats the 2 tracker gnomes on their backs and kind of walks off with them. Oscar never really relaxes, but he is still noticeably quite tense. Still got like his hand on the sword, which is like in the ground. Watching them slowly leave.
Sure. Might I suggest, whatever you do with Warlier, it's of course your judgment. I'm concerned that if word somehow gets to Malakesh that his conspirator, so to speak, has been compromised, perhaps that would make matters worse for Clearkeep and for Cornucopia.
You mean play dumb?
We must be careful.
I think you are correct, unfortunately. I might be able to stay the damage somewhat. But until their time is right, playing the fool, I think, is the correct choice.
Thank you.
Bolara gives a disgusted sigh.
And he will keep on going to find some stew.
How's your dad, Belle?
He's in good spirits.
I'm gonna go check on him. Just.
I take the instructions for the cave moss.
Yeah, go ahead. Torrent doesn't read Nomish. He will comment
Does Lyra?
Leha.
Leha. Sorry.
No
Probably
idea.
not.
It's not something that they would have ever discussed.
I'll translate it with you later.
That's smart.
Oh, bless you, Ian, you sneezy monster.
It's sneeze time. That time of year.
Yeah, I'm recovering from a cold.
If no one else was saying anything, then Torrent would head to Griff's.
Okay. Without the rose-tinted goggles Balara has towards her father, it's clear that he's not doing that well. Medically, doing adequate. Coping, not so well.
Torrent would sort of walk up to Griff and be like, all right.
Yeah. Can't work. Can't help.
We can still do things to help. A lot of your woodworking is smaller things we need. Things that we wouldn't do very well without. Things you can do sitting down. Hell, you could carve yourself a new leg. Once it's healed properly. Don't do anything before then. Otherwise, yeah.
I'll take your advice on that.
Look, we need you, Griff. You've got skill. You're good with your hands. and Belle needs you. All right? She needs you to pull through because she relies on you more than you think. She's an independent girl, don't get me wrong. But she's soft on the inside. And you're somewhat of an anchor for her. All right? So don't let her down. And he'll reach into his bag and he'll pull out the bottle of Gnomish spirits he bought from the Minotaur trader and say, don't drink it all at once. Ration it. Otherwise, you'll die.
You can give me a persuasion check.
Now the question is this a persuasion check to get him feeling better or to not drink all the spirits?
It was to get him feeling better.
Oh,
Not to
dear.
drink.
That's doodling off.
Just eye contact the whole
I was
time.
just gonna say that.
One bottle in. No, he just kind of like you probably just like put it down by him, and he doesn't like really pay much attention to it. But he kind of just sort of like lays back down in the sun.
I think once he's laid down, Torin would inform him that he is checking the wounds and
Yeah.
dressings, and would do so.
As I expected. What would the rest of you want to do?
I
Team, party
am
people.
going to be. I'm not really following the gnomes, but I'm staying nearby. I'm not really watching them as such as I'm watching for danger towards them.
That's a perception then.
Alara would actually have done the exact same thing.
Probably more stealthily than Amaryllis.
Yes, and probably in no way would have like spoken to Amaryllis about her plan to do so. So
Yeah.
maybe from a different angle.
Yeah, totally. You can do another perception then.
Okay.
Although I doubt you'll beat 26.
I bet it was
I
so
also
nearly
doubt
in
that.
that one. It was
Seeing
so
as how I
nearly.
only have a +4. Ooh.
Yeah, you do that, but then there's also like fish stew. That's really nice instead of having gnomish moss pancakes. But Amaryllis, in part because no one pays attention to Amaryllis, you can just kind of stand and witness the village moving and flowing around her. You can watch. There's definitely a bubble of no one paying much attention. No one giving time to the gnomes. They're paying attention to them, keeping away from them, but they're allowed some food and stuff like that. You doubt the people are going to attack them or anything. Just the matter of the truth is, aside from like Oscar, you're the only real people in the village with like fight in you, for the most part right now. So it would be very unlikely. Yeah. I want to give you more, but there's nothing. There's nothing to give.
Yeah. Well, a successful perception check did its job.
Yep.
Is that all you can give me?
You bodyguard
Yep.
the gnome.
The hidden tree bodyguards for gnomes.
The hidden tree watches the
That's-
small.
Yeah, that should have been our code.
Future code. Alright. What's Richter doing?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I think his mind is on that smoker that we had discussed before. Because I would assume we have some meat left, right?
There's still some rattling around, yeah, and there's been other hunts going on.
I'm afraid I'm entering full meal recline mode.
It would be nice to have different sources of food coming in,
Agreed.
rather than relying just on the gnomes.
Absolutely.
I'm sure there's a posh word for that.
Valara was for sure gonna go look for sheep, goats, cows, whatever got away. She just wanted to make sure that the gnomes were safe first.
It's a good idea if you to do that in like the evening when there's still light. Sure, Richter, you can start working on that smoker. I don't think there's really anything. That's just going to take time. You can make it using all the resources in the village right now, but what it really requires is kind of knocking down some other buildings to use the stone, to use the wood that's of good quality. So this is just time. You can give me an athletics check to see speed it up some, but that's just a work job. No little questy quest. You're doing work. Trying to dislodge the big stones that you'd need from some of the more battered up buildings that just are never going to be used. It's hard work, but it's good work. Bell, if you want to go sheep looking, that's a survival check.
Okay. Do we have any shepherding dogs? Herding animals?
We ate them all.
Probably not
Because
anymore.
if we do, I would take them with me.
We ate
Probably
them.
not anymore.
We ate them.
Oh.
So, unfortunately, no.
Stew of the dog.
Well, it wasn't a 1. It
That's
nearly
true.
was.
It was 2 ones, so it was a 1, really.
No success. No successes. They're gone, unfortunately.
Grand.
And that leaves you all the way up until evening. Unless there's anything anyone wants to do during the night, I would assume rest.
Yeah, I need to rest.
I've got a list of missions here.
Yep.
We have spare time now. We should make a graveyard.
Yeah, that's kind of being made.
Yeah, we started it before we left.
Yeah. So people have been working on it while you've been gone, but yeah,
Okay,
if you want to dedicate some more time to the graveyard, that's sensible. So it's done.
Especially considering now we know that this corruption, if it seeps into things, can reanimate. We need to make changes to the graveyard to ensure that either it's above the water table, or we are appropriately. You can
Warding
cast
and
ceremony
stuff.
on.
You can ward you can funeral rites
Yeah,
the bodies to protect it from being raised.
I don't have ceremony, but Leha might. To prevent.
You're a cleric. You have ceremony. You haven't
Of course,
added it to your
'cause-
spell sheet, but you have it.
Yeah, I have the access of everything, don't I? So I
so
could
you
perform-
can do that as a ritual. Can you give me an intelligence check for that? Because this is kind of like you're going. There's like a couple of strong, hardy lads who can handle burying the bodies right now. But you're kind of looking over the space you've dedicated. It's a bit up the hill, which is good for that.
I'm rolling like jack shit today. It's actually the worst. The average of my rolls has been like 5.
Welcome
rolled-
to
Just
Ian.
in life.
Roll multiple 2s.
Beata Maria.
You
Yes.
see these issues in your mind, but by the time you're kind of like up the hill and looking at it, it's just not today. Your brain is too bad.
Bastards.
So you just resign yourself to sleep. One moment, please.
Oh, he's like, 1 moment while I prepare this battle map for the nightly
Everyone
ambush.
roll initiative, yeah.
One moment, please. I can't find the dragon's token.
When you wake up, it's cold. There's a whistling wind of the snowstorm battering the village. It's not quite a full blizzard, but it is still frickin' significant, especially with how the village is set up. The core, like the buildings that are more together, like Oscar's and the Lodge and Leha's, yeah, they are built to withstand this kind of snowstorm. But even that in mind, the snowstorm is fierce. You know, it's like just a flurry of white outside wherever you've laid your head. Oppressive weather.
First things first, I'm going to go to the poisoned cache of
gnomish food, and I now have purify food and drink equipped, so I'll just ritual cast however long it takes to entirely purify that.
Okay. That's fine. That takes a bit of your morning.
Yeah. And then I would sort of seek out the others and say, this storm will affect the village, but it will also affect any of your livestock that remain out in the fields. and
It's kind of
forests."
it's kind of funny because the wind is severe. So Amaryllis is like semi-rooted to the ground, but like a tree is kind of like being
Yeah.
pulled by the wind more than you guys would.
And
Like the
because
hair is...
Yeah, her hair is branching. It's all like out that way in one direction.
And this snow is so fierce that like it's like a silent hill. You can barely see too far away from you. This is like freak weather. Chaps.
Flapping about everywhere, but speaking as calm as normal.
Exactly, yeah.
Is
Exactly. That's why I had to draw attention to it. Couldn't not.
How far along am I with this smoker? A couple more days, or
A couple more days, but doing this kind of work in this weather would be incredibly slow.
That's
Like
fair.
doing stuff with your hands is still possible. It's more the walking and back and forth and stuff like that in the snow. That's the problem.
You tried to tell us it's a snow day.
Can you afford a snow day?
Can we afford not to have a snow day?
Oh!
Can I go and look for Balara then?
Yep, where would Balara be?
You would have stayed the night out in the woods
You know,
because she
Okay.
was gonna look again in the morning for.
In which
Last time.
case, looking
You
for
find
Balara
Balara frozen.
is really freaking hard. You're gonna need to give me a survival check.
So I guess I'm saying what I'm saying to just Torin, man.
No, I imagine you were saying it to both
to,
of them.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
Rick
yeah.
to before
But
he
he-
headed out, yeah.
He pieces out. I'm like, okay, we're gonna need.
when you said livestock, I was like, oh yeah, I'll get on that.
Oh fuck.
Oh shit.
Can you also give me a perception check with disadvantage?
Perception disadvantage.
Perception. Okay.
Damn rats.
Tracking through the snow, you know. You
On a
What
strong
horse
horse.
Horse open sleigh. We had
You
the
like
same
you said
thought.
it. You said it with the jingle to it.
Yeah.
You're like tracking through the snow. Oh my god, I can't even say
That's
that
not
without.
the first line of that song, is it?
No,
Yeah.
that's-
Tracking
through the
Dashing.
snow.
Dashing!
No.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Whatever.
yeah, but it
It's-
sounded similar enough.
Tracking, dashing, syllables.
I'm not gonna legally allow that.
It's snowy. It's Christmas.
Both of you to internet jail.
Yeah. Traveling through the snow.
On a one-horse open sleigh.
You don't even have a single horse.
On a
on
gnomish
a-
boat with slaves.
Yikes.
Too real.
Snow exists. Can we all agree? Ugh.
Richter is gonna find Belle frozen.
You go to find Belle
been
in
a
the
shining.
forest. As I described a while ago, when it's snowy in the forest, all the trees kind of droop low. It actually makes it quite hard to travel through the forest. And almost eerie. Especially with the corruption, anything could be out here. You travel to one of Balara's camps, and luckily she's in the one you would kind of expect. And it's, credit to her, entirely competent in this kind of snowstorm. Not pleasant, but you're not going to freeze to death in her little shelters and things and fires, or starve. But yeah, you find her in a frozen over forest.
You stayed out here all night.
I went looking for the livestock. I was gonna search again when I had more light.
I've come to help. I've come to help you.
Come to help!
I've been Scottish all along. Tricked you all.
Kill
I've come to help.
Jester.
Excellent. 2 heads are better than 1.
Yes.
It'll also be nice if any kind of corrupted creature were to attack to have somebody at my back. This snow has made the trees awfully hard to climb, which is kind of my MO.
Yes.
I knew it. I knew it would happen, and yet I still wasn't prepared for it.
Do you wish to
Oh,
head
this is savage.
straight away?
Yes,
Lead the way.
I would lead the way.
Yes.
Please both give me both survival or one with advantage. So I imagine Belle will take the advantage.
I should probably do survival with advantage because you have -1, right?
Yes.
And both of you can give me perception checks at the same time.
Oh, that tickles me.
Yes.
There it is, bud.
Oh, yeah!
You start
Well played.
heading out, and luckily, this kind of weather freaks out the goats and the sheep that you were looking for. You actually can hear them bleating. It's a track further towards the mountains up on the hills, near the graveyard, where you find in a it's almost like a little cubby made by an avalanche or rockfall lately. A small gathering of the livestock, kind of huddled up in the cold, yelling for help, essentially. And you find them. You actually find, that there's a bunch of them and they're all together in here. Unfortunately, Belle, this whole time you felt a little more on edge. I don't know whether you would admit it to Richter.
Never.
But you felt like there's something in the snow. It might... At first you're just like, okay, I can't see very far away, so my instincts are playing a trick on me. You keep hearing another set of heavy hoof steps in the snow.
Chupacabra.
Not the
Oh,
Chupacabra.
God, no.
You're not halflings. The Chupacabra is a halfling deity.
It's a deity. We killed a god?
This
God.
is a reference to the Monday game where there was a mini quest where the halflings have a tradition to appease. They make sweets and cakes to appease a folklore creature called the Chupacabra, as in shoe pastry.
Yes.
And it is a creature made of candy and sweets and cakes.
If
But
we're
it's
sticking,
horrific.
it's horrific. Yeah. If we're sticking to Wednesday game memes and she's hearing hoof step, it's clearly the second boar.
The second boar, yeah, that's a good one. Forgot about that meme, but it is a good
evolved.
meme.
Okay, fuck Horn of Plenty. This is now Jarviskjir, the second boar.
It's just like
That's the one shot in the future where you're just all animals.
No, I love that, the idea of a horror version of this, where just every so often Ollie has us roll perception and we hear or see the second boar.
It's fucking Reginald all over again.
Yes.
Okay.
So hearing it, rather than admit it to Richter that I'm feeling kind of spooky, I would turn toward the sound with my bow drawn and knocked.
Okay. If you would give me one moment, my good friends.
You're going to be tired real quick.
No, this is a fantasy bow, so it doesn't hurt and doesn't require strength. It requires dex.
It's like a recurve or something.
You mean a compound.
Little
You mean a
lady.
compound.
Compound, yeah.
But they don't exist, not with this level of technology. I'll mansplain it to you during the
Thanks, I hate it.
Me too.
That's why you make the jokes, huh?
Yeah. It's because I hate myself.
Oh, by the way, Belle, you guys, you are full health. You had a rest. That's relevant because
You're about to be attacked.
You're
also
about to roll initiative, but we're gonna do it after a break because it is nearly time, and it's always easier to do that afterwards.
Yes.
So
Also, I have to pee.
yeah,
Always.
but at any given time, yeah. So we'll
Just
be back
catheterize, job done.
after these catheter messages.
Ding!
Do you need a new catheter? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.